Hi everyone, it's Shar and welcome back to my channel and just welcome back in general. Okay, so today we are doing a speed build and I was playing the 100 baby challenge earlier when I realized that a lot of my houses have a lot of color, and that's just because of who I am as a person. Okay, I like houses with a lot of color, usually lots of variations of blue or yellow or orange or purple. And I had this idea. I was like, okay, what if I challenge myself to build a very generic house that uses no color, with exceptions, right? Because of course there are swatches that have like little color in them, like flowers or plants or things like that. But the main idea of this is that I wanted to build a house whose color scheme was white, gray, and some light brown for variation. So no joke, I built and bulldozed this house 3 times before I finally came up with this layout. I put dormers up on the roof, which I normally don't do, but I've been watching a lot of Little Simsy, so maybe that subtly influenced this. But what I wanted to do for this house is that I actually want the dormers to be functional rooms. I had no idea who lived in this house. All I could think was they must be so boring because the entire house is white. Like literally the bit of color that you see, the most color you will see in this house will come from like the landscaping. And even then we used swatches that had white in them, like white flowers. And then the little trim you see on the house. And that's just because I needed some way to like separate the house out. Otherwise it was just like solid white paneling all across, sideboard, whatever that's called, just all across the house, and there was no way to distinguish the rooms. So we did add a little bit of color, and I normally don't place windows until after I create the layout, but that usually creates really weird like exteriors. So this time around I said, let's place the windows first and get a sense of what we wanted to do. My original idea for this house was, okay, maybe the person that lives here has a very, very bland white house, comes across as a very bland person, but upstairs in the dormers, I'm pointing as if you can see me, upstairs in the dormers is like a secret room where they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. Maybe they're spying, maybe they're doing experiments, maybe they're actually a criminal and that's where they keep all their money. I don't know. But that was my original idea, so I wanted to use the bookcase door in this house, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Let's talk about the porch. I needed this house to have some kind of dimension, so I add this wraparound porch, and later on this wraparound porch becomes a huge feature of the storyline and who actually ends up living here. But I don't want to spoil the story right now. I struggled so much with trying to place this ladder. I was like, how can I create this ladder that's not interfering with like any of the walls or the windows, that I can still hide away and create this secret room? Is the ladder going to be in the bathroom or something? Can I use stairs? And at first I do this where I put the ladder in the bathroom and then I create this wall between the bathroom and the ladder, and I put in the bookshelf door to say, okay, great, this is going to be the house. And like I said, I was just thinking about ideas of what I could do, but it was just really weird and funky, and I couldn't figure out the layout, and it was messing with the windows. And I was like, what do I even want to do with this floor plan? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't even close this off in real life. It would just be open space. Then I realized that would be really weird for anyone who came into the house because they're not supposed to know that the upstairs is anything. There is no, like, staircase to the upstairs. So you would come into this house and say, why don't you have a bed or a bedroom? It would just become a show house. And there actually is real people that live in this house. So I quickly realized that wasn't going to work, but I said, okay, let's just do some decoration stuff. I really wanted to use this paranormal stuff wallpaper, which I loved. Originally, can you believe this house was going to be base game? And then I said, you know what? This is too much of a challenge enough, because for me to not use color is a lot. So I'm just going to let myself have free reign. I don't have all of the packs, but I will openly admit that I have most of the packs. So I do this layout first and say, okay, maybe we have the kitchen against the wall and it leads into here. Can we do 2 bedrooms? Maybe 1 bedroom is there, then it's like a smaller kid's room, or maybe that's just a bathroom and it's open. But then how would you get into the bedroom? And could you even fit a double bed into that bedroom? No, you couldn't. And it's not a child or a teenager that's living alone in this house, but I like the open concept. So you could just see me like going back and forth and trying to figure it out. I make the bedroom bigger before I ultimately just scrap the the whole idea entirely and say, you know what, let's not hide the upstairs at all. The upstairs is where the actual like sleeping space is, and this family just prioritized the downstairs living space. So my idea was that the house originally maybe came looking like this, and they said, hey, we have this space upstairs, let's utilize it, and let's prioritize the downstairs area for just us and make sure that it works. And I love the idea of having like this hidden walkway, so you can see me going back and forth to make sure you can't see it through the roof. You cannot see it through the roof, so it becomes kind of like this lofted area upstairs, which I love. For gameplay, probably not the most fun unless you like the idea of having some kind of secret room, just because the roof will definitely interfere with your gameplay. Like, you have to have all the walls down in order to see the entire room, but it is fully functional. I play tested after I recorded, and everything in this house works. So this is the layout that we ultimately go with. We go with one downstairs bathroom. It will become a full bathroom. I'll remove the ladder at some point so we can have enough room for a shower tub combo, which will ultimately end up working. And just keeping this open how I originally intended is what I ended up doing, but that the staircase created this small division of space with the dining room. I put these paranormal chairs down. Clearly you can tell that I love this back, and I love the way it looked. Then I thought, is it too much for this house? Like, this would be a very boring family, but I ultimately decided that it kind of fit. It almost has this like old beach house aesthetic, and the kitchen was a nightmare. It was so hard to figure out what to do with this kitchen. I don't think I ultimately like loved how it worked out, but I loved how it worked out for the family that ends up moving into this house, which I will tell you more about in a moment. So the cabinets were, again, a nightmare. Like, I was like, I don't know. This is when I realized these are the same cabinets. They're not the same color white. What the heck is up with that? Why are they two different swatches? I was so annoyed. But this stove, again, influences the house. It is an older house, and it gives me so many ideas for what I want to do. And this is the point in the video where I start to think about, okay, I think I know who might live here. So you can see there starts to become a theme in the house with how we decorate and what we do. But this space right here stumps me. I think, are we just going to have a massive hallway that's completely empty? That doesn't make any sense. So I think let's put the living room here. But that doesn't make sense either. Theoretically, like, yes, maybe you would walk into the living room, but then what does that backspace next to the kitchen become? And why would you walk straight into the living room when it's right next to the stairs? So living room is smaller, and I ultimately move it over here before I get tired of it and say, let's just go upstairs. Let's do the bedroom. And realizing that the double bed wasn't going to fit with the layout as it was is what led me to remove the ladder, and that makes the functional space completely work. So one side of the room is a office / study space, and then the other side of the room is the bedroom. Again, all white. This family has something against color. Like, I don't know. Want it to be very plain, very clean, very simple. And I'm trying to figure out ways to just add decor. I let myself cheat a little bit with the green, and I put the archaeology table down, and that's when it comes to me. The person that lives here is an archaeologist, and they just like their private space, very reserved. You're very stereotypical academic, like, I like my private time, I like my space. He's also a neat sim, so that's why he wants everything to be like very white, very clean, very simple. So I put in a mirror for some skills. I also put in this grand piano because I never do, and I realized this house is for an older sim. So I think, why not? Let's have a grand piano in here. And I originally tried to do like this kind of wet room like I did with one of my other speed builds for the tiny house, and I think, wait a minute, this ladder is not even functional. Why are we taking up all this space? Let's put in a full bathroom because it is the only bathroom in this house, but it works. Once I put the piano down and I move on to doing landscape, because eventually the interior of this house starts to drive me crazy, okay? I'm just like, there's no color here. It's all white, so we play with textures, we play with patterns. I like the way it ultimately turns out, but the reason I end up liking it so much is because I decide who lives here. So it is the archaeology sim, but he's retired, and I realize he and his wife actually live in this house, and this is the house they moved to after all of their kids moved out. So all their kids are adults. I do fix that on the roof. Don't worry. I notice that the interior wallpaper goes on the exterior, so I ultimately fix that. So I start to add this landscaping, and that's when more of the touches of his wife come in. I realize realize this is definitely a boomer family, just to let you know, right? So she was a stay-at-home mom. She raised the kids. She loves gardening. She loves knitting. She loves the piano. She was a yoga instructor. So we turned this backyard space into like a very relaxing oasis. All the flower swatches we use, you can see I have the filter on that says white, gray, and light brown. So it definitely fits within that theme. I actually had so much fun with landscaping this house, which I normally never do, but I just really, really love the way it turns out. So I was mentioning it's a retired couple, Harold and Geraldine. They just love hanging out outside in their little house. They moved to a smaller space. They have their retirement funds, and they are just out there living their best lives. I put a little rocking chair outside, a warming lamp, a hot tub, which is a CC hot tub. It's the only CC in the whole house, just because I don't like the base game hot tub that came with the update, but there are actual like skins or overlays for the hot tub, so you can get a hot tub that actually looks better. I put a little swing under the tree set, and this swing makes me realize, hey, this couple has grandkids, and the grandkids definitely don't ever stay over or sleep over. I imagine they have 2 grandkids. They have their child granddaughter, Francesca, and then a little one on the way whose name will be Veronica. So those 2 come over every once in a while, so you'll see some of their toys out about on the house. I mentioned that Geraldine loves gardening. There's little rocking chairs out on the patio, and from the rest of the video, I'm honestly just putting down decor. They go out and they ride their little bikes together. They sit out on the patio with like a book while Geraldine knits. They just hang out. They love to play chess together. It just turns out to be such an adorable little house, and even with like the kids' toys, I did stick with like that white theme, but of course they're kids' toys, they're their colors. I add a rug just to break up the space a little bit. We have Geraldine's yoga mat right under the tree. She loves going out there in the morning. I also put a little toddler slide out there, something that they bought because they were so excited about the new baby, Veronica. So they put that space out there for her, and it truly just turns out to be the most adorable little family. If you love playing with elders, I think this would be such a fun house to play in and such a cute family. To give you more context, immediately after I built this house, I was so inspired to create the family that I did. So this is our Not So Berry file. I'm always building the Not So Berry file because, again, that is a legacy style challenge. So we do like to have Sims with storylines. So Geraldine and Harold, they had 3 kids. They had twin boys, and they had their youngest daughter, Juliet. Now, Juliet goes off and marries a celebrity singer whose name I believe is Tony G. So she marries him. The whole family hates him. It's this whole like drama. And then we have their son, Trevor. He's one of the twins. He's very much a surfer. He moves to Sulani, meets a beautiful woman. They get married. They have their 2 kids, Veronica, who is about to be born, and then Francesca, who is their oldest daughter. And then there's Alvin. Alvin is Trevor's twin brother. Alvin is in a politician career, so we'll see him and Micah Jane come into each other very, very soon. So thank you so much for watching this video. We are getting to the end of it. I hope you enjoyed as always. This house was definitely a challenge for me just because I never build without color, but I do ultimately love the way it turned out and the family that lives here and just the whole storyline that we created. The only like brightest color you're going to see are those flower pots outside of the windows. They're not on all of the windows, but it truly is such a cute, sweet house. It is in that neighborhood in Newcrest that is like next to the golf court area, so it is like the retirement village. But I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.